earlier ages. Jack Ma started had a lot of issues to do with studies, applying for scholarships, trying to get to Harvard, which is a dream of almost every student, but he couldn't make it. He failed several times to get to Harvard. He failed even among 24 people shortlisted for a job interview. He was the only one who was not accepted, and 23 were accepted. Who knows? That was his own destiny, which made him one of the richest guys in the world. It's not just a richest person or a rich person. He is one of the richest, top rich people. We can say is among top 30, right? Now he has been he has been having issues with the government, but it's one of the well-known people. If you want to know more about him, if you are someone who is determined to have that kind of personal development, you can look up to him. He's a very great guy, and if you try to understand his personalities, I think they can change your life. On education, he can say that, like he normally say, you will never learn wisdom from classes, okay? But he says wisdom, you only learn it from life experience. We know we have had a lot of different experiences with life. So in classroom, you only learn about knowledge, but life is about experiences. Now, coming back to our program of today, and maybe before we go to the program, I would also like wish all of you a belated happy 16 May. We know it is a very great day for all of us as South Sudanese. It's the day which started the journey to the country we have today. So it's a great pleasure that we are doing our orientation program today on 16 May. And I wish South Sudan is going to bless you with opportunities. I can see we have Makong Deng, Cook Gong, Helen Achol, David, Deng Manyon, among others who have not yet joined. So thank you so much for taking your time, and a great greetings to all of you for joining our today's program. My name is Abraham Chol Kuden, and I'm an alumni here in Turkey under Turkish scholarship. I've been here for so long, as mentioned by my brother, Nial. And concerning that, we have been doing the same thing that we are doing today with ENA. Most of you know about ENA, which is Education Needs All, an organization founded by a well-sounded mind, someone who is working to help the community, South Sudan society, the youth who are struggling to get scholarships, on how they can easily have access to scholarships and how they can do the scholarship procedures. This is the reason why we are here. It's part of the ENA programs. And of course, for today's program, we are going to look at how to do Turkish scholarship interviews, of which I will be the one taking you through. At the end of the session later, you'll have time to maybe ask some questions in case you have something to know. And my brother Nyalwar will also be in a position to assist me in case I need his help with giving you answers. And that's how we are going to do it, right? So for now, I'm going to take you through my screen, of which, Niall, if you can allow me to share my screen, it will be great. All right, I can see I'm able to share my screen. At first, let us look at well, let us look at this screen. As you can see on the screen is a normal invitation letter, which is sent to every student accepted worldwide. And the only different information that you can get is that part where we can see the address, which is here. We can see the address. Most of you, they know where Turkish embassy is located in Juba. But if you don't know, it is located in Hai Matar, of which the address there, you can also get it. It's on the invitation letter. I don't know if you guys were called or you were sent special addresses. So I just want to share this one with you in case you don't know about it. Now, I want to take you through this slide. There on the slide is written Turkey Scholarship Interview, orientation, of course, which we are doing. And it is a comprehensive guide to preparing for a scholarship interview. I prepared it myself, and it contains information that I have been using for the last few years as a program under ENA. We do not only do interview orientation, we also do application orientation about Turkish scholarship. And even after your interviews, if you are lucky and you get accepted for the scholarship, then we can also take you through how to, like what to tackle and how to do your process of coming to Turkey and the most important things which are needed, right? So these things that we normally do together with ENA. There is about introduction, as I mentioned earlier on. This presentation aims to equip candidates with essential insights and skills for excelling in the Turkish scholarship interview. So here is part one about preparation. I know you guys are doing your interviews tomorrow, but it was because of time we would have done it very earlier. And also reaching out to all of you wasn't that easy. So it took us time to reach out to all the invited students. And I'm even quite sure there are those whom we could not meet. So it's a great pleasure that you guys are here, though it is a little bit late. What you are going to get later is going to be helpful for you. But first, I will have to take you through the preparation. There is written arrival in Juba, which I know most of you are now in Juba. But for those who stay from far distant places, it can be hard for them to get to Juba due to some other circumstances. We have a lot of issues. Sometimes the road may not be accessible, may not be usable. These are few issues that students normally encounter. I myself, I have my own story concerning this, but I'm not going to take you through that since it is not going to help us for now. We are already in Juba. I just assume like we are all in Juba because our interviews are tomorrow. I think most of you are going to do your interviews tomorrow early morning. So I'm going to leave that part. Knowing the embassy up to now, if there is someone who does not know the Turkish embassy, I talked about the location, the address is there, and you can also get it on your email, the email which was sent to you by the Turkish scholarship team. You can get the address, and even without getting that address, you are all connected. We have the WhatsApp group. You can get to know about the location through your friends, those who went there last weekend, those who did the interviews last weekend. And for those who have gone there maybe yesterday, today, and just days before your interviews, those people can also help you. It's very important. You have to know it. Here, under knowing the embassy, I would have to point out a very important part that you also have to do. As you will be going for your interviews tomorrow, arrival time is very important, which is our third point. Arrival time is very important. We know you may try to be there as early as possible, but you have to be serious time because you may be stuck in a traffic jam, which can make it a little bit complicated for you to reach on time. And with panic, if you do not settle, if you go there and you have that pressure, then your interview will not be good for you. So you need to be there on time. You need to take your time, be there. Try to be on time, at least some hours, or maybe 2 hours, I can say. Go there, stay around with your colleagues. The other people, the other student, invited student can also reach you there. You can stay around, you can have a rest, you can relax. And after relaxing, that will be a great chance for you to go to the interview room while you are relaxed, right? The other point here is when you are relaxed, you do it in a very nice way. It's just a normal conversation. There's nothing special about interviews. Just like another interview, There's nothing special about them. You just go there, you relax, you do not need to panic, just a normal talk. And you do it in a very organized way. Whatever point that you give is something that is going to be accountable for your results, the outcome of your interview. That point, I think it is quite clear. You need to know that. Be there on time. If your interview is tomorrow at 9, at least by 7, you will have already started your journey, right? That one can make it good for you and you can reach on time. You have to do that. That point is very important. Take note of it. Here is about dressing code. There is nothing special that I'm going to say about this, but you need, if you want to put on your casual wears, if you want to put on your gentle wears, just make sure that your dressing code reflects who you are, right? Once you enter into the interview room, what the interviewers are going to look first is your dressing code, right? It shows who you are. It shows the person you are. So you need to be serious with your dressing code. Make sure you are just going for a single day interview of which it can change your academic life or it cannot change, right? So you need to take note of that. Dress well, go there, make sure your dressing code reflects who you are. It's the first thing that they're going to know from you. And we don't even know, maybe they write something about it. We don't know. So you need to take note of that. The last part of our preparation, which is preparation for oral and quantitative test. Yeah, quantitative test has something to do with numbers, like quantity and quality. When it is qualitative, we do not deal with numbers, but with quantitative, we deal with numbers. So some years back, they used to have that. They used to have quantitative test, of which mathematics was the quantitative test that they used to give, right? Sometimes they can give logic. We deal with numbers. But I think for the last weekend, for those who did interviews, they did not have quantitative test. So I'm quite sure for you as well, you are not going to have quantitative tests. There on the invitation letter is written that you guys have to come with a pencil and eraser, but don't panic about it. We talked about this the other day. It was asked by one of their invited student. He asked about it, but yeah, you do not need to panic about it. If you have a pencil, you can go with it. Eraser, you can go with it. But I did not actually hear from them whether they had quantitative tests or not. If there is no quantitative test, then there's no need for a pencil and eraser, okay? Preparation for oral interview, this is what we are doing. And yeah, of course, whatever thing that I'm going to say here is part of the oral interview and things that you did, right? They say that when you are working for an exam, you do not get 100% of what you prepared for. You get few of it. And of course, this is what we are doing. We are not different from that. What we are doing is preparation, and you are not going to get 100% of what I'm going to give, but you can get few of what is here, right? And the whole thing may not be helpful for you, but those which are going to be helpful, you can use them and take note. They can help you in getting your scholarship. So we are still under preparation, understanding the scholarship criteria. This point is very important. We have time. It seems like we are running out of time because it is tomorrow, but still we have time. You have your telephone, you can go, you can access the internet, the websites of the Turkish scholarship and get more information about what they want. The scholarship criteria, how they select people. And here, like you have already made it, like I can say, coming out of over 3,000 of students who applied for this scholarship and you emerge to be a shortlisted candidate is a clear indication that you have had a great pass, right? But the remaining one is not that difficult. It is up to you either to fail yourself or to win yourself something, right? So it is all that we need to work for it and then we get it, right? And that's why you are here. You have already started preparing yourself and that's why you joined this program. So be sure, whatever thing that we are doing, you also have to make your own research. Later when you go, like when you go to your beds, you try to understand some of the criteria, the scholarship criteria, go to their website, as I mentioned. That one is very important. As it is written there, you have to familiarize yourself with eligibility requirements, such as academic qualifications, language proficiency, and other specific prerequisites that may vary by scholarship, right? Knowing this criteria ensures you highlight relevant strengths during the interview. So these are the very information that you should acquire before time. Academic information, what is needed. For example, you need to know, maybe there are those who have applied for medicine, but for you to get medicine, you need to at least have 90%. There is a new system which is being applied in South Sudan now, of which you guys are not excluded. You are part of that system, that grading system, but still make sure that the results you have is equivalent to at least 90% for you to get a scholarship for the medical school. That one's very important. These are things that you should know. You need to get more research about academic qualifications, language proficiency, and another specific requirement. Also, on language proficiency, for those who applied for the course study in English, that one is very important. And if they ask you whether you have a language proficiency or not, of course, you do not need to give an answer that I have it in case you do not have. Here in Turkey, these days, they no longer need IELTS. They need TOEFL, PT, and all the other language proficiency exams. But I don't think whether you guys have them. So it will be up to you if you applied in programs taught in English. If you get lucky, you can come to Turkey. After finishing your language, Turkish language course, then you can go to the exam. When you pass the test, then you can go directly to start your studies in English. But for those who applied in Turkey, there's no need for that, because definitely once you arrive, you will have to attend Turkish language classes, right? So those are just things that you need to know on time before your test or your interview. Researching the interview process, investigate the structure and interview, the typical questions asked and the interviewer's expectations. Utilize online resources, reach out to past scholarship recipients, and explore official scholarship websites to gather information that will prepare you thoroughly. You have already reached out to us, and through ENA, you are part of the team, and you have had some experience and information about how Turkish scholarship is. So that one is very crucial for you guys. Also, you need to make more research on typical questions which are asked, or which I'm going to give you a few about it. For example, one of the most important questions which is asked in almost every interview is tell us more about yourself. This is an indirect question, right? Who are you? Tell us more about yourself. This question should not let you be panicking. It should not make you panic. It's not that very hard, but it is very important because it is a starting point of your interview. If you misfire it, then you will be panicking and everything won't go well. So you need to be calm, be precise, because time is also, like they give short time, they do not give you enough time to give more details about yourself. So you just need to do it within even few seconds. You do your introduction, you tell them more about yourself. You tell them yourself. Then as an applicant, you have to identify that as well. And what you applied for, which university, you just need to give brief information. Once you give that, it means you are someone who is active, right? For example, if you are someone who applied in, let's say, Istanbul Technical University in Istanbul, you can say that, my name is Abraham Chul, and I'm an applicant for Turkish scholarship. I applied for medicine engineering course in Istanbul Technique, located in Istanbul. And then you can also make it, at least you give a little bit of information about that. Just have that confidence. When you are confident, you will be calm, and it can make your interview go well. But if you are not confident on what you are giving, that one can, and it will give you pressure, which is not good for your interview. So note that. And also some of the questions that we normally ask, I talk about tell me more about yourself, which is there. Why do you deserve this scholarship? It's one of the questions. You need to think about it. Why do you deserve this scholarship, right? Why do you deserve this scholarship, this Turkish scholarship? So you need to give more information because there are a lot of shortlisted candidates, and these candidates, not all of them are going to get the scholarships. So what really make you a good choice or a good candidate for this scholarship? Why should they award you the scholarship? So you need to identify that. It is something which is not far from your competence and your ability to maybe change your future and the country you are coming from, because they are looking into that as well. So you need to give brief information on what make you different from other applicants, right? So they can also ask you, yeah, you applied for this scholarship in this university. Why, I mean, you applied for this course in this university. Why this course? Why specifically this course, right? For example, if you applied for medicine, you need to give a reason why you apply for medicine. There's always a driving force pushing you to do something. If you're applying for something, there's that driving force pushing you to apply for that course, right? So you need to give that brief information. If you have a short story, I mean, interesting one that can give, that can, that can attract the interest, then you also have to give it because it's very important. You just need to get the interest for you to be shortlisted. Just have a normal conversation, as I mentioned earlier on, and don't panic. Give precise information. Don't beat around the bush. You have to show them the high level of confidence that you have, right? You need to be confident enough for them to accept you. Here, as mentioned, crafting clear, concise answers help build your confidence and enables you to articulate your thoughts effectively during the actual interview. Yeah, of course, you do not need to be just grabbing points, right? That one can make you be floating over. You do not need to just be moving on things that you are not sure. It's better for you to be in that close circle, that small circle of confidence, than just moving, trying to grab every point that you want to place them, right? Make sure you are calm, you are precise, you give what exactly asked. You do not need to answer what has not been asked, right? And then you wait for them to ask you. Here is during the interview, which I talked about the questions earlier on. They are also part of during the interview, but as part of preparation. Tonight, maybe you guys will have to look through them. You try to, maybe you write down your points so that when this question is asked, you won't panic. You have a direct answer already in your mind and then you give it, right? That is part of preparation. You need to prepare yourself for it. You do not need to just say that, yeah, I know English and it's not going to be hard for me. I will just do it. Let me sleep and all this, right? So take your time, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Try to answer the questions, the common questions that should be asked, and that one can help you before you go to the interview. Now, let's look at part 2, which is during the interview. Here is introduction, documents control, candidates motivation, academic knowledge, career goals, ending, and candidates questions, right? So earlier on, we talked about introduction in the preparation part. And here, yeah, of course, it's part of their things that you have to do during the interview. You will come, you knock on the door. Don't just enter. You have to knock gently. Just do it in a very nice way, a very organized way. Let them know that you are someone who is considerate, you are someone who is well informed. And then they say, welcome, you come, then you sit. And of course, you have to sit upright, right? Because it shows your activeness. You need to be active. You need to be someone who is ready. You have that body language of readiness, showing that you are ready for the interview. Okay? So that one is very important. Also, keeping eye contact sometimes is good for you and for them as well. They know that you are serious and you are someone who is focused. And then don't forget what I mentioned before, how you present your point. Be straightforward, don't beat around the bush. Here is documents control. Under this point, I'm going to talk a little bit. When you applied for the scholarship, there are those documents that you uploaded on the system. Those ones are very important. You need to come with all of them. Organize them in a very right way. When you are asked to give a specific document, you will be able to give it, right? Organize them in a very nice way. When you are asked that give us this specific document, you will be able to give it. But know that the way you organize them, make sure you know those that you uploaded on the system. When they ask you, you can remove it. When they ask you, you are able to remove the document from the envelope, and then you give them directly, you give them, right, when they ask. So that order is very important. You need to know that you have this document in this place, you have this document in this place, such that when they ask a specific document, you will be able to give. When they ask all the documents, then you can be able to give them. The other point here is about your document. Some of the students can forget their document, right, at home, and that one can make it complicated when you reach there and you do not have some of the documents. That is about not being serious. So you need to be serious with your document. As soon as we finish this orientation program, make sure you try to check. You check all your documents. Do you have all the documents that you uploaded on the system? Do you have all the other important documents that may be needed, right? If you have all of them, put all of them in order. Tomorrow, when you wake up early in the morning, the first thing you need to do is just to check your document, make sure they are all there. Be sure that every document, every single document is there. There's nothing left out. You need to do that. It's very important because you can forget. Even your IDs, someone can forget an ID, and that one can be used as a point to reject you, because there are a lot of students who will be going there as well, and they are also preparing themselves. So you are in a competition, a very nice competition, not the bad one. You are in a very nice competition. When you fail, it's only you who failed yourself. It's not because of someone, because we have time to prepare ourselves. We have access to information, just like what we are doing. And for someone who has not attended, it's up to him. And if he failed because he did not attend the program, that is because of his reluctance. So on this point, make sure you have everything in position. Candidates' motivation. Here under this candidate's motivation, I'm going to tell you a few questions. Under candidate's motivation, they will ask you some questions. As I mentioned, why did you choose this course? Why do you want to study this program? Why did you select this university? Or why Ankara University, for example? Okay, so these are typical questions that you can encounter during the interview under candidate motivation. Why this country? They can ask you, why this city? I mean, why this city? Why Istanbul? Why Ankara? Why Izmir? They can ask those questions. Why do you choose these cities? So depending on the city where your university is located, you just need to make more research. When it's come to history, you just need to know little things about the city. Maybe it's good for your studies, or maybe it's friendly city and all this, nice city. Just talk about the city in a very brief answer, right? That is very important. They can also ask you about why choosing Turkey, not any other country, okay? Here, you need to give information. You give brief information why you choose Turkey. This one, I'm just giving you the highlight, but you will have to make research on them. Why did you choose Turkey? Why did you select this course? Why this city, right? So those are very important. You need to have them in place. Also, here under academic knowledge and career goals, these are the questions that they will ask about the course you applied for. So sometimes they can ask you, what motivated you, or what do you know about this course? Very challenging, a vast topic. When you try to write a book, you can write a book of thousands pages, but you can give a brief answer of 10 seconds, 15 seconds, right? So it's not that, it's not just a very simple question, but you can also answer it accordingly in short period of time. Also under this part, when they talk of career goals, one thing that you need to know is that Turkish scholarship is working on impacting the whole world, not only Africa, not only South Sudan, is working on impacting the whole world through the scholarship by taking a student, brilliant student to their country to study here. As you are studying here, you are going to study their language. Now remember, language is the major component of every culture. So when you study the language, it means you have already started studying over 50% of the culture, of Turkish culture. So after finishing the language, you are already part of the community and you are an ambassador. When you go to South Sudan after graduating, you will be a Turkish ambassador to South Sudan in a different way, right? So they want to take those brilliant students, those who have goals, not those who are just going to come after graduating, they have nothing to do. Those who have goals, those who are working on impacting the economy of their own countries, those who are interested in studying in Turkey and after graduating, they'll have to go back to their countries and impact the life of the society. So as someone who applied for civil engineering, for example, you have your own goal. You have a goal, something that you want to do after graduating. So you need to be precise on this. What are you going to do with your certificate? What are you going to do with knowledge that you're going to gain in Turkey? Make sure you are going to use your knowledge to impact your country, to impact where you come from. And this is what they need. So it's one of the typical questions that they can ask you. Right? There are a lot of other questions that are there, but you can make more research on them. I'm just giving you what to do and try to make sure you get more information about them. When you go to their interview, you will be able to give precise information on the topic asked. Here is yes, before we conclude, and maybe here I'm going to talk on one point. Here is saying preparing for oral. No, we talked about this one earlier on. Here is ending and candidates question, right? After finishing your interview, they can ask you, do you have anything that you want to ask? So if in case you have any question, you can ask them. If there is no question, fine, there's no problem with that. But if there is a question you want to ask, you can freely ask them, right? This is a typical question that they normally ask. Do you have anything to ask, anything that you would like to know? If there's nothing, you say, no, there's no question that I have right now. And your interview will be done. So those are typical questions that are normally asked. And under this, we are talking of communicating personal goals and aspirations, as I talked about it earlier on. And maybe to give more insight on it, articulate your long-term academic and professional goals clearly, explain how the scholarship aligns with your aspirations, emphasizing your commitment to utilizing the opportunity for personal growth and contribution. And here as well, highlighting academic and extra curricular achievements. On this point as well, there are those extraordinary students who might have achieved a lot of awards. Maybe you are an athlete, maybe when it comes to academic, you are one of the best students in your state, in your in national exams. So these are things that you have to highlight. But it's very important for you also to have the document to prove that, yeah, what you say is actually presented on the document, and you have a document to present to the interviewers. So that one is very important. If you have those documents, you can easily give them, and it can also impact the results of your interview. Here is demonstrating cultural awareness and adaptability. Yeah, of course, because you are going to a different place, and we have what is called cultural shock. And as I mentioned earlier on, as part of demonstrating awareness and adaptability, you need to be someone who is ready to study the language. So they may ask you, are you willing to study Turkish language? The answer will definitely be yes. And maybe you cannot just say yes, you have to give something. For example, I can say, if I'm asked, I can say, yes, of course, I'm ready to learn Turkish language and be part of the Turkish speaking community. Why? Because Turkish language is spreading worldwide, and I do not want to be left out, right? Or maybe with Turkish language, I will have to do something in my future. Just like you need to brainstorm your points and come up with nice way of approaching these questions. Here is effective preparation, structured presentation, and clear demonstration of personal attributes and cultural awareness are essential for success in the target scholarship interview. Approaching the interview with confidence and clarity will greatly enhance your chances of securing the scholarship. And this is our part of conclusions for our today's program. As I talked about them earlier on, you need to be someone who is well prepared. You have that effective preparation for the interview, and of course, as I mentioned, you have to be precise, always be on point and know what you are going to do. If you are well prepared, you know what you are going to do. When you are going to an exam and you know nothing about how the exam is going to be, you always panic, and even you can easily misfire a question. But if you are well aware of the topics that you studied, you know almost everything in what was taught. When you go, you just go relaxed. And when you start your exam, everything will just look simple, right? If there is any hard questions, you can approach it in a nice way, and it can also be solved amicably, right? So you need to be calm, you need to be serious, you need to know that what you are going to do is just like a normal conversation, but something that can change your life. So prepare yourself for now. Is what I can say. And of course, we need to hear from you as well. Do you have any questions that you would like to be answered? You are free. If you have difficulties with opening your mic, then you can also write on the comment or the inbox section, send your question. I will be happy to read it to the rest, and I will also be in a position to give you an answer. My brother, Nial, who is moderating this program, is also there to help me in case there is a question that I won't be able to answer. I will also be the one to give you an answer for that, right? Thank you so much for listening up to this far. The turn is now yours.
Thank you so much, Brother Engineer Abraham Cholkur, for the wonderful message you have given to us and our brothers who are going for the interview tomorrow, our brothers and sisters. I hope you have given enough knowledge that will help us tackle the interview tomorrow with ease. The most important thing is to be prepared, be fresh, don't panic, just talk to the people. So the people who are going to interview you are white people. It's normal for some of you, maybe before you have not talked to any white person. So, and we have a belief when we were growing up, we used to think that white people are so different from us and they are so smart, and you might panic when you're talking to them, which is not the case. We are here with them. We go to class together. They're not even that smart like the way we used to think. So they're normal people. Don't be intimidated because you are talking to a white person. So, any question, guys? How many are we supposed to be? So, I did not understand your question. In the, like, the number of people going to do the interview, or?
Yeah, Neil, I'm going to help you with that question. That question was written before we started the program.
Okay.
It was inquiring on, because we were waiting for some of the candidates, the shortlisted student to join. That's when he asked that question.
Okay, thank you. I hope everything is clear. And also to make one thing clear, our brother engineer Abraham Chol has talked about a lot of questions, and he suggested the ways you can answer them. So those questions he has talked about, let us not think that they are going to be asked all of them. You may find yourself being asked only 2 questions, 3 questions, 4 questions. So it doesn't mean they are going to ask all of them. So don't feel overwhelmed with the questions that Joel has talked about. of course, those are the questions that they ask, but they don't ask all of them to one person. They can ask you 3 different questions, ask another person 2 different questions, like that. They select from the list of those questions. So those are the questions that we gathered according to our experience, those who have done interviews before. So maybe they can even ask you only one question, like tell us why you chose this course, and finish. The interview is done. They can decide to say, why do you think you are eligible for this scholarship? Why do you think you are the one who is supposed to be selected for this scholarship? And when you answer it, they say the interview is done. It's normal. They do it like that to some people. And also, they can ask you 3, 2, 4 questions, and that doesn't mean you are failing. Sometimes it means that the course you have selected or the way you're answering questions is interesting, so they want to know more about you. So they can even ask you 5 questions. That doesn't mean that you are not doing well. It means maybe you are interesting and they want to, when the conversation is interesting, you feel like talking more to the person. So that's one thing I can also add. I don't know, do we have a questions? But I don't think there is a question, because our brother Engineer Abraham was so clear and everything seems to be well articulated and smart. So, and in case if you have a question, you are really welcome to ask the question. Raise up your hand or, okay, we have our brother Deng, David Deng. So David Deng, you can ask your question.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Neil. Thank you, Engineer Abraham, for this wonderful orientation you have done. As Neil put it, I'm David Deng. I applied for Masters of Science in Agricultural Economics in Ankara University. Now I wanted to only appreciate you for the wonderful orientation you have organized for us. You see, having somebody beside you is very important. I would have not have this information if it was not because of your efforts. And for now, I'm equipped to go for interview. Beside what I read, something that has been added, especially from this orientation, is very important. I don't have question, but I would want to encourage most of us and all of us who are going for this interview. Very unfortunate that I will not make it to go for interview because of family issues in Bor. I'm in Bor, but I was planning to travel today. But things came in abruptly that I will not make it to go for the interview. But for those who will make it there, I wish you the best. Do it to how you may succeed. I wanted only to appreciate the organizing team for really making it happen and for orienting us to be ready for the interview. Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, David Deng, you are really welcome for the words of appreciation. And also, did you try to contact the embassy about your issue? Did you try to talk to them and see if there's a way they can help you, or? Yeah.
I wrote an email to them,
Yes.
but there's no reply. So by the way, I'm planning to see if I can travel tomorrow early in the morning by 8:30. I'm already in Juba. It used to happen. You can travel from 5 at 7 or 8:30. You are in Juba. But this is what I'm yet to decide with the family members, whether I can travel tomorrow very early in the morning. Then by 8:30, I'll be in Juba. And from there, I can proceed to the embassy. So I'm waiting the reply. They have not yet replied to me. But let's hope the best, maybe the positive outcome from the family meeting later.
Okay, I hope it turns to be positive, and I can also help you with a phone number. I think you have also gotten a number in that email they sent you, or is there no phone number you got at all? Because the email may delay. It's better you contact them directly through a phone.
There's a phone number.
Yeah.
there's a phone number, but you see, as I'm here to decide with the family, after maybe tomorrow, I mean, after later at 8:30, because we schedule our meeting at 8:30, I'm hoping to go there. I'm hoping so to go there, unless if there are technical issues of this public transport that may not make it for me to reach as early as possible. But I'm hoping from the family meeting, I will go. Only that I may not go exactly at 9:00 to the embassy, but from within there, I may reach at 9:30, maybe at 10, the embassy. But I have the contact. I don't want to contact them before anything from the family. I only wrote email, and if they reply, it is okay. If anything out of the family meeting comes positive, I'll just make it there. But thank you. That's why I was interested to attend this orientation, because if I'm to go tomorrow, this orientation that I've received will help me approaching most of the questions if they ask me any of the questions here. But I hope most of the things that are already in this orientation slides are going to be there based on the number of interviews I attended, especially the jobs interviews, the interviews to do with my undergrad. So I think most of this will come. And I thank you so much. I hope for the best anyway from the family meeting.
Okay, okay. Yeah, inshallah, it will be okay. All will be positive. And the reason I suggested you to first call them is to inform them that I will be late, even if you will be there. And also, if you are going to be around at around 11, 12, it's also okay, because they start in the morning at 9, and there are other people that they are going to interview, which will take time for them. It may even take the whole day. So even if you go late and you still go before they finish all the interviews, definitely they will interview you, because it's their duty to finish all the interviews. Unless you miss the whole day, that will be the problem. But if you will be in Juba tomorrow, they will interview you. Any other person who has something to add or?
Well, yeah, Neil, I have something to add on
Okay.
what you said. Yeah, thank you so much, Brother David Dengmanyon, for the insightful remark of giving thanks to the team. Actually, this is not the first time. A lot of people do face challenges. And of course, like as someone who is now involved, it's not that easy to reach there on time before 9, right? Because it depends on public transport and we do not have that scheduling. So the best thing that you can do, though you wrote a message, an email to them, that email wouldn't really help, because today, like, they did not come to the offices because it is 16 May. And tomorrow, of course, Saturday, of which tonight we can't be expecting maybe a reply from them. So the best thing you can do is what Niall suggested. You can use that number, and Niall can also help you with the number that he said. There's one of the guys who is there, a South Sudanese, and it's the right person that you can contact, who can talk with you. You narrate the whole thing, and they will be aware of your problem. You can tell them that I'm going to be late. In case you go there late, they will know that there is someone coming. In exceptional cases, they can also decide maybe to, like, the situation in South Sudan can be understood sometimes because you are in a distant place. So they may understand, and they can schedule maybe an online interview like what we are doing now, and have an online interview with you. That one can be another option if they accept to do it so. But you need just to let them know that I will be there tomorrow, but late because I'm now in a far place because of this and that, right? So just try to do that. Yeah, you just have to forget about that email. Email cannot help us. That's what I wanted to add.
Yeah, of course. They can see a way to help you if you communicate with them, if you tell them your situation. They can really see a way to help you, even through visual meeting, like Abraham stated. They can do that. They can decide to do that. Yeah. So any other person who wants to add something? you want to ask a question or any other thing? Okay, one thing that I would like to add before we finish, before we close everything, when they ask you, like, there is a very important question that they ask people, like, why did you choose this course? The course that you chose is the most important thing. They want to know you whether you are a serious person or you are just a person who found yourself in education because your parents took you to school and you don't even know what you're doing. So for the best way to answer that question is to answer with, you have a problem that you want to solve. That is one. Two is that you are curious about something that you want to know, you want to learn about. Those are the best answers for that questions. Like, let's say you are studying agriculture. Let's say you grew up in the village farming and your crops get destroyed by, let's say, flooding, these things like pesticides, they destroy your crops. And then you got something at school that there's a way you can handle that and your crops grow well. So you tell them, that's the reason I want to study agriculture, side that I improve this kind of farming that my parents does and they have difficulties with it. I want to improve that. That's one. Let's say you are a person going to study computer science, like I myself, I'm studying computer science. They ask me, like, why did you choose that course? Then I told them, and it's actually a lie. And during interviews, you are allowed to lie because nobody will know whether you are telling the truth or not. Just be confident. Just show that, like, you are telling the truth. Don't show it in your face like you are lying. I told them that when I was growing, I used to play a lot of games on computers. And as I grew, I came to notice when I press something, the things start to move on the computer, the things start to work. So I want to know what is the connection between the buttons and the things that moves in the computer and what makes them work. That is what I want to know in the computer. That's why I chose computer science. And they were so impressed. These Turkish people, they are so curious. When they see something that they don't know, they want to know. So I was lucky to even say that I did not know about them being too curious, but I just decided to say that. So they were so happy because that is their nature. When they see something that they don't know, they want to know more. So they were so happy with me because I was also curious like them. And they really appreciate me about my interviews. And they asked me, do you have any question to ask? And I came while I was so prepared. I had my pencil, eraser, everything. Then I asked them, like, we were told to come with a pencil and erasers. Are we going to have exams? And they said, no, that message is sent generally to all the people around the world. And there are some countries who do written exams, but it's not the case for South Sudan. So they saw me basically as a person who is ready to do everything. So I think answering the question why I chose computer science and also being ready with my erasers and pencil and also asking whether there's exams or not, I think they contributed a lot to me being selected for the scholarship. So just show them that you are ready, show them that you are confident. Even if you are lying, you lie confidently. So that's what I want to add as a secret, a tip to you guys. And also another thing that I want to add is school. Going to class is not everything. Going to class alone is not everything. You can go to class, graduate, and you still have nothing. I'm sure there are people in your village, people around you that have graduated, they have degrees, but still they cannot help themselves or they cannot help people around them. Why? Because they studied, but they did not build themselves. They did not build their relationship with people. So to be a strong person in the future, you have to build your relationship with people, talk to people, learn how to communicate, learn how to talk. So, so we ENA, we help people to get scholarships, and we also help people to build themselves. And with the building ourselves, we also organize this kind of talks, conferences on Saturday. We are going to have one on Saturday, which is going to be a very interesting one. There's one of us here in Turkey who came to come and study, and he graduated, he did his bachelor's, he just finished his master's here, and he created a company here in Turkey. So we are going to welcome him to talk to us more about how he saw that opportunity to be able to, and what gave him the courage to be able to even create the company. You see, so by listening to him, we are going to learn a lot. We are going to get encouraged, and we will know that it's possible everywhere to do something and help yourself. So I also welcome you to be attending on Saturdays. Learning is not all about going to school. You can learn a lot by talking to people and listening to people, also asking questions. That is where we gain wisdom, as our brother Engineer Abraham said before. So I would like to welcome Cholkur to give his last word, and we then close the session.
Well, thank you so much, and hello to all of you once again. Yeah, of course, as you guys know, interviews are determining factors for anything that you wish to get, right? So we talked about everything, almost everything that we touched, and in some cases, we might have not been specific, but you just need to know that whatever thing we talk about is very important. When you do your interviews, just take note of things that we did. Be calm, be precise, don't panic. And Neil mentioned it very early on that the people who are going to interview you are white people. Definitely, they were sent here from Turkey to do interviews in South Sudan. So I think everything's going to be fine for you guys. And yeah, of course, I have nothing much to say. Maybe just to add on the programs being run by ENA. As Neil talked about it, it's not just mainly about the scholarships. Of course, it started with scholarship programs, trying to get different scholarships, making more about research, more research on scholarships, and giving information to students, helping them on how to apply, doing orientations like what we are doing today. This is how ENA started, and is growing. It's not just stopping there, and we need you to be part of it as well by being a member of the group, and also by mobilizing people. You know, there are a lot of students there who are like they are trying to get a scholarship. They are trying to develop themselves, and of course, personal development is very important because we know that wisdom is not found in classes. We get it from our real life experience. So, as part of real life experience, ENA is going to be there with you. Take your time to be part of ENA. Take your time to tell your friend, to tell his friend as well, to be part of ENA. And of course, after your interviews, we wait to see you tomorrow in our session, which is going to be in evening hours, right? So be part of the session as well. Have nothing much to say apart from wishing you all the best in your interviews. And of course, I wish you all the best results after your interviews. Thank you so much for attending this session. That's all.